Welcome to Urania Universe. I'm Urania, and in this video, I will give a brief overview of the astronomy and ritual of September Equinox. This is video 6 of 8, in which I discuss these 8 significant points that the sun makes as it moves through our sky from our perspective here within a year time period. And this is also considered, these 8 significant points, to comprise the wheel of the year within the pagan tradition. So this is a really beautiful way to observe and connect with the natural cycles of Earth. And therefore, we can see the divine outside or divine without and really reflect on that and bring that divine within. What is September equinox? This question is best answered, in my opinion, through demonstration using the amazing software of Stellarium, which I will do here in a few minutes. However, I do want to share with you some key points of the September equinox, and I also want to present to you 2 different perspectives of how you may observe the natural cycle at this point in time and how you can connect with this in your local experience. So the 3 key points of September equinox, we have 1, the sun is shining directly over the point of Libra along the celestial equator at the moment of the September equinox. So again, the sun is shining directly over 0 degrees of Libra along the celestial equator. Number 2, the sun rises due east and sets due west on the day of the equinox. So you can get an idea of your true cardinal directions for your location at the time of the equinox. You can say even, a day after, a day before, but definitely on that equinox day, you can get an idea of what your true east, true west is for where you are. And number 3, the sun neither ascends north or descends south during the equinox, right? And I will explain the reason for this. And so equinox and equilux are actually both referring to the same experience, but observed differently from a scientific point of view. And you can observe this energy of balance with both equinox and equilux. So as we know, the equinox literally translates to equal night, and equilux translates to equal light. So I want to share what these are and how they compare to each other. So with the equinox, when we're looking at it from an astronomical point of view, we're going to consider the sun as a disk, but we're going to focus on the center of this disk, the center of the sun, this point, this imaginary point, which is known as the subpolar point. When the subpolar point is shining directly over 0 degrees of tropical Libra, this is considered to be the moment of September equinox. And therefore, when this point is shining above 0 degrees of Libra, the sun is straddling both hemispheres, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So in a sense, we can say the planet of Earth as a whole is experiencing equal light or equal nights, equal day, equal nights. And at this point of the equinox, the Earth's axis is perpendicular to the sun's rays, right? And so it's distributed evenly. With the equilux, we take into consideration the sun as a disk and negating the point, the center point, right? The subpolar point. So when we are considering the equilux and considering the sun as a disk, the moment we pay attention to the moment of when the light of the disk first appears on the eastern horizon during the sunrise, right? We take that into account. And then we also take into account the moment in which the last little bit of light from the sun's disk is setting beneath the horizon in the west. So really the point of determining the balance of day and night is through, of course, calculating the moment or the hours, the span of time from sunrise to sunset and sunset to sunrise, right? And this, more of this focus is in the experience or their observation of equinox. So equinox is more so focused on just the sun rays and looking at the planet as a whole, and the sun rays is evenly distributed on the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. And with equilux, that's when it's more so about the daytime, the day, the amount of day light and the amount of moonlight, essentially. And this is beautiful because with the equinox, we can come together and observe this as the planet as a whole being, a whole body together collectively. And with the equinox, this can be more of a local experience where you are as the actual day in which you experience equal daylight hours, equal night hours, those together, those in balance, is going to be specific to your latitude. So as I'm recording this in the year of 2023, if you're in the northern hemisphere, more than likely, especially if you're in the United States, you're going to experience the equinox on September 25th. And, or, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you're experiencing equinox after equinox. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you're experiencing the equinox before the equinox. And then this reflects or flips for the March equinox. So for March equinox, if you're in the northern hemisphere, you're experiencing that equilux before March equinox. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're experiencing equilux before or after the equinox. I'm going to get tongue-tied here. So if you want to look and learn for yourself specifically, I will share the link to this particular article that I read on Time and Date, which is a really amazing website, timeanddate.com. Also, there's a fabulous website that, I should have the name, but I've been posting them in the other videos that I've done thus far on the astronomy and ritual of these 8 Sabbats or 8 significant points. And the name of the website is Solar Events Calculator, I believe. And so you can go on there and also look to see what are the exact dates for these significant times of the year for your location, and you get the actual time. And they also have like a moon clock, I believe, and it's a really cool website. So I'm going to share that below. But here you see the key significations of the equinox. And so I'm going to walk you through just watching the motion of the sun as it ascends and descends and comes into balance with these significant points during the course of from equinox to equinox. So I'll show you that here in Stellarium. What you are seeing on your screen here is the astronomy planetarium software known as Stellarium. This is actually free to everyone, and this is amazing. It's available on Windows and Mac. And I'll actually leave the link to check this out and download it if you're interested, and I'll leave that in the description of the video. So with this, I will be showing you just the course of the sun from equinox to equinox. I will also show you the variations of east and west during the sunrises and sunsets around the equinox before and after and on the equinox. So you can get an understanding of what I was saying, explaining in the first part of this video. And so here with the red line, you see the red circle, that is the ecliptic path, the path of the sun from our point here on Earth. And then the green is Earth's equator. And so you can't see it right now, but what I have here is, or if you look down below, there is the date here for September 23rd, 2023. And we have this time here, which actually, let me change it, adjust it to the time of the equinox. which was 2:50 a.m. All right, so early in the morning, actually, but now the sun is down here. I actually have the ground off. So I'm just going to show you what it would look like with the ground on. Oh, so yeah, it's so it's nighttime where I am at that point, right? The sun is below the horizon, and that is indicated here. The sun's below the horizon. So just wanted to show that. And if you can also see right here where the moon is, there's Capricorn, the Capricorn, Tropic of Capricorn, cardinal point. And then this is Libra, which you can't see at the moment. And Aries is here. And Cancer should be somewhere around here. I think this little date window. Nope. Where is Cancer? Maybe I got to zoom out a little bit or in. Let's see. Oh, I was going to say my screen is frozen. That's odd. I don't see Cancer on the screen. It might be further up or further to the left. Anyways, you'll see it as I move forward in time, or forward and backward. And so here you see, if I just take it back a couple of days, you'll be able to see Libra. Where is Libra? Sun. Okay, there's Libra. So I'm going to take it back a little bit more, and the moon's, coming closer to Libra since we're going back in time, right? Oh, here's Cancer. So it was kind of below there. You see that there? All right, so I'm going to take it back to the equinox, the day of the equinox, and I'm going to take the atmosphere off so we can get a better view, possibly. So bear yourself, it's going to be really bright. Oh, no, it's not because it's nighttime. All right, so the atmosphere is off, so it's a little bit cleaner to see, and I'm going to take it to the March equinox, which was actually on March 20th. At 17:25 p.m., right? 17:25. I don't need to say a.m. or p.m. because it's military time. So here we have Capricorn. So I just want to get all of it in here. And I didn't mention, but please bear with me as I am in the midst of learning this software. So it might take me a second just to, there we go, get everything in here, adjusting everything. Okay, cool. So we have this down here, Libra, Capricorn, Aries, right? And this makes sense when we consider that this is the March equinox. And then up here is Cancer. And so this is the point in which the sun's path and Earth's path meet. And this is essentially when the sun is the point, right? The center point of the sun is, and this looks like some nice little sacred geometry. The center of the sun's point is shining directly over Aries, tropical Aries. So moving it forth, we're going to just take it to June solstice. So as you can see, the sun is ascending upward. And maybe if I can get this, I'm not even going to worry about trying to get it to zoom over. So the June equinox is the 21st. Okay. And it was at 10:57 a.m. or 10:57, I should say. So here we have the sun above north of Earth's orbit, right? So this is at its most northern extreme here. Then we have Libra. You can see Aries and Capricorn. And I'm really proud of myself because in the last, the solstice video, I didn't have these cardinal points. So I just learned how to do that. And so now we're going to go to September equinox. Now here we are at Libra. And actually, this isn't the day of the equinox. It's the 23rd. And it was at, again, 2:50, right? So we were already looking at this here, 2:58 early in the morning. And so here we have the sun at that Libra point. There's Aries, there's Cancer, and Capricorn. And then finally, I'll take you to December solstice, which is on the 21st. This is like the most basic stellarium use. I love it. If you ever check out Gemini Brett's awesome. He has tutorials on Stellarium, and so you can see how expansive it is and what you can do. It's really cool. But I'm definitely taking it slow. So here we are. This is going to be Capricorn. Oops, I wonder. So now I'm just seeing if I can flip it around. Or I just went in a circle. Okay, there we go. Cancer's down here. Capricorn is where the sun is. And then we have Libra and Aries. So just wanted to show you how those alignments happen, right? And this is, again, we can't see the ground's not here. So I'm going to put the ground here. And then let me zoom in. So we get kind of an idea of the horizon. And this is going to be, I'll put the directions up too. So this is going to be, you see east and west, right? And you can see the sun is actually below the Earth's equator, right? And so if I go ahead and move it back to September equinox, you can see, or the day of the equinox, you can see that the sun is right on Earth's equator, right? It's meeting the Earth's path is Earth's equator, or the Earth's equator is meeting with the path of the sun, right? And so here I want to show you, so we'll just go back in time to sunrise. So if you see this, the sun is here, right? So we're here in the east, of course, right? But very close to the east direction. And then we're going to go ahead and see that the sun sets due west, right? So then let's take it back just a month. Let's take it back to August, right? Of course, this is the same time of day, but you can see that the sun hasn't even set yet. So the sun set, as we're getting closer to the equinox, the sunset's getting earlier. So I'm going to take it back to, let's just focus on the rising, right? So here it's 5 in the morning. So this is August. I'll just take it up an hour. So you see the sun is actually setting over here, more so in the north, right? Northeast. And so let me take it back to September equinox. So then we have here setting, the sun's rising a little bit later, right? Yes, a little bit later. And it's closer to it's actually in that east direction. So we're going to go up to October. Boom, the sun hasn't even risen yet. I don't know why I said boom. And it's moving more so towards the south. So this is a month after the equinox. All right. So then take it back to equinox. Let's go ahead to the sunset. And you see it's setting due west. So keep our eye on the time here. And this is about 7 p.m. So let's go to 7 p.m. in August. The sun is just about to set. And you can see it's a little over here in the north as it's setting. So now this is back to September, now October, and the sun has already set. It's still almost 7:30 at night. And I'm going to take it back so you see where the sun sets. Take it back some time. So the sun's setting a little bit more south, right? And so this is interesting. After the September equinox, the sun is setting more in the southern direction, southwest. And before the September equinox, the sun was setting more in the northwestern direction. And on the day of the equinox, you could see the sun setting in exactly due west. And then, of course, it's the same on the eastern part of the horizon. So I hope this was really helpful. I hope this was fun to watch. And again, I'll share the link to Stellarium if you're curious to play around with this yourself and to see what it's about. And I will see you in the next part of this video. Now to the ritual of September equinox, which I will specifically focus on the autumn aspect of equinox, being that I am in the northern hemisphere. So I'm going to give this perspective here. It's also considered to be the Sabbath associated with Mabon, or also known as the Sabbath Mabon. And so if you are in the southern hemisphere and it is the September equinox for you, then definitely check out the video that I shared on the March equinox, as that will be more relative to your seasonal experience at this time. So the September equinox, also known as Mabon in the pagan tradition, is a time of balance. It is the second harvest season of the cycles of the Sabbats, right? So there are 3 harvest season or harvest festivals, and the first one is Lunasa, which is the halfway point between June solstice and September equinox. That is the peak of summer. Then we have this second harvest festival or season, which is Mabon, which is the September equinox, autumn equinox. And then the third festival or harvest festival or harvest season is Samhain, aka Halloween, which we'll talk about that in the next video, which is everyone's favorite. I'm so excited. I feel that I'm going to be doing the research early, so I can't wait. The concept of balance for this time of year, for this equinox, for autumn, the initiation of autumn, is essentially the awareness or the experience of harvest, of gain, and of also sacrifice or letting go. And so that is a bit of the focus. And it's interesting because if you watch the other Sabbats or points that I have discussed in this Wheel of the Year, I also mentioned sacrifice with the previous season, Lunasa. And that is something that is just a part of the cycle in general, the energy of letting go and the energy of receiving. And with this particular season or this equinox, there is a strong emphasis more so on receiving, which is interesting. And in order to receive, there is a need for letting go, for creating space, which is something that I feel a lot of us do around the equinoxes, the spring cleaning, and that's definitely a popular one. And I definitely clean during the autumn period. And I'm curious if you all do that as well, especially those of you who, garden or plant things or mainly put your plants outside. So in order to prepare to bring that outside life back inside, because, the temperature is also decreasing, you have to clean space and clean house and reorganize. And then that feeling of bringing everything inside brings forth this cozy feeling that we all feel when we're in the season of autumn or fall. So at this time of year, there is a strong experience. I was going to say focus, but what we see in our environment, we see apples growing on the trees. That's a big one. We see grapes growing on the vine, squash, pumpkins, all the root veggies coming forth. And it's just, in Lunasa, which was around, it was interesting. I think it was August 7th was the actual day, which is this, connection also to August 8th, 8/8. And definitely check that out if you haven't watched it, because that was some interesting insights coming forth there for 8/8. And that period, that first harvest season, we were getting some stuff. I feel like it was a lot of flowers, maybe little bits of fruit, like definitely tomatoes and things of that nature. However, with this second harvest, this season of harvest, it's like everything. And this is when I really feel the fruit baskets, the cornucopias, and just I've been seeing people with pictures on Instagram and whatnot of, just like fruit and veggies spread out on their counter and like ready to have, a dinner, a gathering of thanks, right? And this is actually the period. This is actually, as far as the cycles of nature, this is a really good time, I would say, between September equinox and Samhain to gather and have dinner and show gratitude for all the abundance that's on the table, all the plants that have grown, and you're bringing that back into the house, and just the fire going, the cozy nature, just the smells of the spices and just all of that energy. This is the true, Thanksgiving. If you're here in the Northern Hemisphere, you understand what I'm saying. But this is the time where we really are in a space of gratitude. And there's a really cool ritual, or maybe more practice, that is beautiful in working with the essence of gratitude and thankfulness between this September equinox or autumn equinox and then Samhain. So again, coming back to the essence of balance, there is also this moment in which, with the September equinox, there is this moment of equality. The god and goddess are seen at this moment in observance as being equal, right? Okay, we're in a space where our power essentially is equal. And at the space of the equinox, this is essentially a crossroads, a threshold, or the liminal space. And that has been, in my present experience here in 2023, I have been talking a lot about the liminal space, the bardo, the in between. And that is, in fact, what is experienced. Why did I say that with a T? That is, in fact, experienced during this time. And as we move past this equinox period, this autumn equinox, this is the point where the scales kind of tilt, or they do tilt towards the night. So we are now moving into longer nights, shorter days. Therefore, the temperature, well, that's not the reason why the temperature is cooling, but it's more so in relation to the tilt of Earth, in relation to the sun and all of that. But yes, all of that also brings forth the reasons for the season, and therefore shorter days, longer nights, therefore colder temperatures, right? And so this is the point where the scale tips to the energy of the moon. So if we're considering correspondences with September autumn equinox, really the god and goddess, because I was, doing my research and connecting with my books to really get a firm understanding, as this is something that I'm doing for myself to feel grounded and connected to the cycles of nature. And I also am here sharing this with you. And I was getting a few goddesses and gods, right? And what I came across again was Isis and Osiris. And it makes sense. This is, again, that harvest, that peak harvest, I would say, in which, again, I'm getting this energy of balance or peakness, right? Because the first harvest, if you're thinking of considering Lunasaw, that is the coming in of the abundance and the harvest. So we're really starting to begin to see the fruits, right? We're seeing the blossoming of the flower and in the blooming and the happiness and the fullness of nature. Then when we get to the second harvest, that is the peak. It's like, oh my gosh, look at all of this. I'm just seeing someone placing a cornucopia little, basket onto the table, and all of the apples and the squash and everything rolling out, the pumpkins rolling out all over the table. And there's just so much abundance. I really connect with this. So we have that fullness, right? And that full energy. And then on the other side, that third harvest festival with Samhain, that's leaning more into the decay and like, okay, the last little bit of fruit's dropping, you better get it. Or more so, is this considered to be the fruit nestling itself into the ground, what hasn't been picked, and that's giving back to the earth. And then that's fruit that the earth essentially harvests that fruit, right? But you can see on either side of the September or autumn equinox, there is this gain. Well, both there's gain, right? In letting go, but there's like this, like, okay, there's like peak warmth. And then here we're getting like, not necessarily the peak and the chilliness, right? The autumn energy, because it's not necessarily winter yet. The peak cold would be Aquarius season, would be in bulk. And yeah, so when I'm looking at this, it makes sense with Iris and Osiris, as that is the peak of the Nile, or at least it's coming into that energy of abundance, and the Nile River overflowing, and that's the period really during Lunasaw. But then in this time, that Nile River overflowing brings forth the abundance and brings forth the fruits and the grains and all of that, which is really cultivated from this autumn equinox and on to share and feast and store and all of those things. And what else did I come across as far as gods, goddesses? Yeah, so goddesses, we got Demeter, we got Persephone, Inanna, Gaia, and really these are the goddesses that connect heavily with the seasons, such as Demeter and Persephone and Inanna. That is, I could see that correlation here. And then another god that came through was Lu, which is primarily the goddess that is celebrated in Lunasaw. The god Mabon, or the name Mabon for this season, is actually in celebration of the god Mabon, and I hope I'm saying this correctly. This is the god, this Mabon literally, I believe literally, it translates to the divine sun. So Mabon is the son of Mother Earth, the Mother Earth goddess in the Welsh tradition. And so this is really beautiful because this is literally honoring the fruit of Mother Earth, right? If this is the sun, the divine son of Mother Earth goddess, it's all connected, right? We are honoring, we are observing and celebrating the fruit of Earth, right? In its peakness. So when coming back to what I truly connect with personally with the September equinox is the god and goddess, God being the sun, moon being the goddess, right? And in this whole cycle, I really just connect with moon and sun to really bring it back to the celestial energy here before we really draw them down into personalities or personify them. And so the sun is considered to be the ruler of the day, and the moon is the ruler of the night. So at the point of equinox, it would make sense, or equilux, even better, that they are in balance. They are ruling together. Their energy, their power is equal. And now, coming from the summer solstice, the season of summer, the scale, and moving into the autumn season, the scale is tipping towards the night, towards the moon. So then the moon, or I guess it should be this way, right? The moon being, rising, right? And so the moon takes precedence, the night takes precedence over this second half of the year. So I love it. That is so beautiful. And with this liminal energy, that's something that's very strong. This is a space in which there is great change and transition, or at least it's like the wheel is turning, right? And you're in this space where it's not quite, it's not quite winter, but it's not quite summer. We're in the in between. And that is really experienced. And that is a part of this vibe of letting go and maybe sacrificing something so to welcome in what is coming forth for the peak energy of the season, right? And so I really connect with this as the energy of this ritual, or this spiritual connection of Mabon. And again, this corresponds to 0 degrees of Libra, right? And usually it happens around September 23rd, 22nd or 23rd. Here in the year of 2023, it is on the 23rd, I believe at 10, or what was it, 2:50 a.m., right? So very, very early is when that moment happened, in which the sun's central point shined over 0 degrees of tropical Libra. So what I want to share with you is a nice little practice or ritual that I am going to do. And I think it's very easy and very beautiful. And yeah, so I'll share it. So this is called the gratitude box. And I came across this in the Witches or the Sabbats Almanac. It's Llewellyn. for 2023. And so this gratitude box, essentially, you want to get a wooden box and you want several pieces of paper, and you don't need them all at once, but you can probably, if you're going to cut them, you might as well cut these little strips of paper, as many as you can in this moment. And then you want to get a special pen or pencil. And it's really fun. The more energy, the more creativity you put into this this box or this little practice that we're going to do. I mean, it can be a part of a ritual, right? But the more energy and the more fun you put into it, the better, I would say, the results will be. And so it might be fun to decorate your box with crystals, with gems, maybe like little pictures, just get creative and fun. For me, if you can see back, I don't know if you can see back on my little wall shelf, I have a blue ankh there, which is my treasure box. And so I really want to start tomorrow, but maybe I'll give myself the grace period of, the actual Equinox, which is on the 25th. So then I can get my own little wooden box and decorate it, right? Spend time decorating it. But that just has, not just an ankh, but it has an ankh there. And, but yeah, and it's a wooden box. So you want to get a wooden box. I'm sure you can use any box, but it was suggested to get a wooden box as it is more of like a connection to like earth material in that sense, like not using plastic or anything. And so decorate the box however you wish. Maybe throw some little herbs in there and some little tiny crystals. Bless the box, clear it with some, some sage or Palo Santo or sweetgrass, whatever feels good for you. Then with your pen, decorate your pen if you want, like maybe wrap a ribbon around it, like, glue a feather to it, whatever feels called for you. These are just, you just want to get creative with it, because a lot more of that, again, that creative energy, the more like potency, in my opinion, it will have. So, and then what you want to do with this, and you have your strips of paper. And with that, once you have everything in front of you, my mind's going a million times a minute. Once you have everything in front of you, you have your strips of paper. That's essentially all you need, right? In the box, either the box, be able to open it, right? So whether you cut a slit, like you make a slit in it, or you just have a box that flaps open or just has a top, right? You want to be able to open it. So beginning either the day of the equinox, which, if you're watching this on 2023 and you're just coming across this, you're probably not going to watch this on the day of the equinox, but whenever you feel called to do this, you want to every day, starting with the equinox, or you can do it the day after or whenever you choose to start, you want to write what brought you gratitude, what brought you wonder, what brought you awe, or just a feeling of joy, whatever brought you this really warm feeling of the day. Write that down and put it in the box. And ideally, you want to make this a routine or a ritual. So if you're doing this as some sort of ritual for your day, you want to do it at the same time every day. So maybe if you have a morning routine, you have morning meditation, doing it, in that space. Or if you have a nighttime routine or nighttime meditation, doing in that time period. But you want to do it the same time every day to keep the consistency and really the sacred energy to it. And so you want to write, it could be one thing, it could be multiple things. Do this every day between the autumn equinox and Samhain, right? To show that gratitude for everything, or the energy of gratitude, abundance for everything, day by day. And you're putting that into the box. Once we get to Samhain, now from Samhain to winter solstice, you want to then every day pick just randomly out one of the strips of paper and read it to yourself. And ideally, this will be good to do it at the same time every day, as I mentioned, with putting the papers in there, the writing in there. When you're reading it, it's nice to read it every day at the same time. And this will do wonders for, seasonal depression. I'm sure. I'm going to try it. I'm really excited. I haven't tried it. I just read it and it really resonates, and it's really simple. Doesn't take much to do. And yeah, it's going to be a really good practice to have. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for subscribing. Please feel free always to comment your perspective, your experiences, whatever you liked about the video. Also, like the video if you enjoyed it so other people can find it, and definitely stay tuned for my videos on the astronomy ritual of Samhain and a winter solstice or December solstice. And if you're watching this at a later time, I'm sure the videos are already there for you. Thank you and have a happy equinox. Blessings.